Hello, this is a demo for accounts payable. In this use case, we will perform a three-way match between the following documents. First, we have an invoice listing all purchased items. Then, there's the purchase order from the supplier. Finally, we have the goods receipt note for all items received. Now, we will go to the template screen, where we will add the following prompt. We are saying that we will do a three-way match between these documents. The workflow will check that the purchase order number matches between the purchase order and the goods receipt note. The vendor name should be the same across all three documents. The item description must match across all documents. The total amount should match between the purchase order and the invoice. Based on this validation, we will route the documents to auto-approval with the due date if everything matches. If there are any differences, the documents will go to the relevant teams for review. So, let's get started. The agent has proposed the plan and explained all the blocks it will use. These blocks will help us build the workflow. So let's accept this plan and continue. It will add a file upload block, the document classifier, and the data extractor merge. Now, it is asking us to set up the new case type and select the following document types in the case modal. Let's provide the case name and select the documents we will use: goods, receipt note, purchase order, and invoice. Let's ask the agent to use email instead of file upload. It has now added the email ingestion block. Next, it is asking us to copy this email address. Optionally, in the advanced option, we can set multiple fields. We will just test the block and send the email to this email ID. We have sent all three files to that email. It may take a moment to process the emails. Once those emails are processed, we will see them in the input and output screen, where we can check if all the documents are fetched. All three documents are available. You can see the purchase order is there, the goods receipt notes are there, and the invoice is there. Let's mark this as done and continue. Now, it has added the document classifier. We have all the document types. Let's test the block. And if there are any issues with classification, we can add instructions to improve the accuracy. You can see that none of the documents are unclassified. All the documents are classified, so we can continue. Now, it has added the purchase order extractor. We can select the purchase order extractor type here and test the block. In the previous input, as you have seen, the purchase order doc type had a random name. So we will know if the correct document is being passed to this purchase order extractor. The purchase order file has been received, and we can see that it has extracted the relevant data from it. We can mark this as done and move to the other extractors. From here, we can also check. We need to verify if all the fields are properly fetched. Now, the data extractor for goods receipts has been added. We can test this block and check the extracted data here. The goods receipt note has been sent to the correct extractor, and all the data has been extracted. We can mark this as done and move to the invoice extractor. Now, we can test this block as well. If we find any issues in the extracted data, we can select Edit Fields here and update the field level information for the extractor. The data has been extracted for the invoice as well. Let's move to the next block. A merge block has been added to combine the output of the previous blocks. Now, the Python block has been added to perform the validation. We can copy the prompt from here and paste it into the Validate Filter prompt field to generate the code. If there are any differences, we can refine them later by using the exact variable with the / symbol. The general coordination is done. Let's just touch the block. It should output the validation. For some reason, it is errored out. Let's try again. Now, it has output the match result and the due date. If anything does not match, it also outputs the discrepancy. We can refine the prompt later and adjust the code with the required fields as needed. For now, let's move ahead with our logic. Now, it should route the case based on the results from the Python block. It is asking us to add this condition in the router block filter. If the match result is a perfect match, it will route to auto-approval. Otherwise, it will route to discrepancy. Let's test the block. It should route to perfect match, as we saw in the result. Yes, it is now auto-approval, because the match result was perfect. Match. Now, it will just add an approval block in case of a manual review branch. So it has opened the approval block. Let's say we do not configure this block right away and mark this as done for the agent. Currently, the block will not run because the flow does not have a case for manual review. But as you can see, since the block was not configured and this is a required field, it is asking us to add at least one reviewer. We will just add this and test the block. Since this block was kept because we do not have the case of manual review yet, let's just mark this as done. So our workflow has been set up, and now we can move on to testing the workflow from end to end. Let's see what the agent suggests for the next steps. The workflow has been set up now, and we can now test the full workflow. Here we can select the option, and currently, since we have only one ingestion, in this method we can see the email has been selected. We can simply copy this mail and test the workflow. Now the system is waiting for the email. Let's send the email with the same files as before. Once the files are received, all the subsequent blocks should trigger in sequence, and we should see the same result as before. The emails have arrived and have been classified. As the execution progresses, we can review the results from the right panel to check if the extracted data is correct, and if the Python validation block logic is working properly. In this case, it was a perfect match. We can see the due date, and we can confirm that the router also directed to the auto approval block. That's it for this workflow. Thank you.